2024, motherfuckers.
Episode 2. Yeah, we
Episode
didn't have
two.
our first episode. This is our first episode together in 2024, or
Yeah,
just us together.
talking
But yeah,
books and bullshit.
definitely books and bullshit. And I I was so excited when I thought of an
Oh my
icebreaker
God, I've
earlier
been
this
thinking about
week.
it.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
there on Book Talk, you may or may not have seen it, but there's kind of like it's not even a trend because it's how like sometimes people are literally posting like the same text, but it's just like you keep seeing it a lot.
Yeah,
Basically, I guess we can still call it a trend. There's a trend of people who are talking about how much of an ick they get when there's like a like current time, like a pop culture reference, or they get the ick if there are like phones in books. Like they're like, ugh, and that it like totally ruins it for them.
really? Phones?
Yes. Like they don't want phones, they don't want apps, they don't want to like hear about modern things in their book. And like I've seen
Weird.
so
I
many of
mean,
them talking about how they get such an ick when there are like pop culture references or like modern technology and apps referenced in books. And like obviously
huh.
like I've just never experienced it. But my question for you is there any genre you read where you're like, oh no, I don't want anything modern referenced? If that's not the case, what is an ick that you get when you're reading sometimes?
This has been bugging the shit out of me. This is like the best icebreaker in the world.
Nice.
This is okay. So my explanation, my answer is,
Hmm.
have you seen any of the memes that people do where they do a carousel on Instagram and it's like
Hmm.
when he does this, next slide is like when he does this, when he did that. And it's
Yeah.
like mostly like romance things or like
Yes.
things in romance. Okay.
Yep.
My ick, and this has got to be just me because like I've had conversations with people about this
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and it drives me nuts, but like I feel like in romance,
Hmm.
there is a certain part in the book, and this is very often when one of the male characters calls the other male character baby.
Mm.
And it might be when they're like having sex, or it might be when they realize they like are falling for each other, or like it might be like a little
Yeah.
slip, like it'll be like, what do you want, baby? And I'm just like, I don't know why it bothers me so much. I hate
Yeah.
that nickname. I hate that
Yes.
nickname. I don't like it as a pet name. And I'm also
Hmm.
like, I don't know if it's just like me and the guys that I'm like into, or
Uh-huh.
maybe there's something wrong with me. I've never had, I've been around a lot of men.
No.
I've been around a lot of men, and none of them have ever called me baby.
Well, that's good, at least.
Like, it's a little bit more believable, I guess, for like a man-woman
Yeah,
relationship.
sure.
Because like I've heard like men be like, "Oh, like hey baby, how you doing?" Like when they're catcalling and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like I've never been called baby by another man. I've been told
Hmm.
you're being a big baby.
Yeah.
Like I've never been called baby.
Not just
That
directly.
like, you're being a fucking baby, and I'm like losing my mind. But like I don't for some reason it's like I will be like reading the best book in the entire world that is giving me all the feels. And like the minute he's
Uh-huh.
like, oh baby, I'm like, oh fucking Christ. There goes half a
Yes.
star.
Yeah. Yep.
That's my big ick right now.
I like that. That's a good one. I
I
mean, I was cringing every time you said I was physically reacting, so I am with you
oh
there.
my God. Like I just don't like I mean, obviously like you don't have to be like, yo, bro, does that feel
Right.
good? But like still like
Well, I mean,
it's just like
I guess in contrast, Tyler has always called me Buck Wild because
whoa, that's another type
so
of
nothing close
episode.
to baby.
If
Because
I would
my previous name, my previous last name was Buckner, and I'm a little bit savage, so that's the only thing he's ever called me, which is
oh my
also
God.
why I named my YouTube channel Book Wild. So
Oh my
little
God. I'm obsessed with
little
this.
Yeah, little fact that I don't know if we've ever talked about it. I just
I don't
realized
think
it
we
as I was
have.
saying it. I don't,
Yeah.
maybe we haven't.
Oh my
So yeah,
God. So
there's
like,
no baby happening around here.
does he call you like Bucky
No.
for short?
No, no, he'll just be like Buck Wild when I'm being me, when
Fucking
I'm being typically in a more Larry-ish context of me.
oh, when you're like overstimulated and you're like you want to like snap his
Yes,
neck.
yes.
Okay.
Or just like way too worked up about a person, just like who's
Oh
like
my God.
doing shitty shit.
Oh my God. This is the best thing in the entire world. I
I
think
know
we
this
could
is a
have
fun icebreaker.
this is the best icebreaker.
What
The best
do you think book
icebreaker.
talk?
Um, I have like people that are like, oh my God, like when he called him baby, like, and they always like, oh my God, I don't know.
No,
I hate it.
no.
I
Yeah,
actively like fucking hate it.
yeah.
Um,
Just try to skim over it.
let's have a talk about speaking of pop culture moments.
Mm.
What is your what are your thoughts on Joe Coy? Is that his name?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him versus Taylor Swift?
So this one specifically, like that joke specifically.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think anyone needed to be offended for her. And then there's like everything about like, was she offended? Was she just bored looking? Like, there's all kinds of things. I don't think anyone needed to be offended by that joke. I didn't think
Okay.
it's not super funny, but I don't think anyone needed to be offended by it.
So this is like I've talked about this before. Like I think Taylor Swift is like extremely talented. I think she's probably a really good person. My whole
Probably.
thing is like her hardcore fans that like riot over everything are what make
Yes.
me not care for her.
Yeah.
So I was like scrolling and like they were like, oh, like she's pissed at him. All of her fans like hate him. And I'm like, what the hell happened? And like I've seen interviews before where like Ellen DeGeneres and like other people interviewing her have like made comments about her dating life and stuff like that that I
Hmm.
was like, that's really shitty that they did that to her.
Yes.
So I thought this was going to be one of those situations. And
Right.
then like all he said was like that
It was more of a
Taylor's
joke toward the NFL.
it was more of a like it was more of a joke that like he wasn't even making fun of her specifically, but
Mm-mm.
more so for the media. Like Taylor Swift is
Yes.
at the Golden Globes and you think that she is going to be a major topic of conversation because she's super popular and
Yep.
Taylor Swift is at the Golden Globes, any award show.
Right.
And all he said was that you would actually see her more at the NFL than you would
Hmm.
on the Golden Globes, which is
Yes.
true because the minute she goes to a game, all of her fans freak out. They watch the game so they can see her. They've
Hmm.
kind of created this disaster. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
they're the ones that are like, oh, like, I only
The
saw Taylor Swift
viewership is
10
up,
times. Yeah, like,
so they're gonna keep doing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, like, if it would have been Beyonce dating an NFL player, if it would have been like anybody else that was a big
Hmm.
name celebrity, the joke would have
Hmm.
still applied. So I don't understand
Yeah.
why, like, if Taylor Swift was offended about that, I think it's
Hmm.
really like annoying on
Yeah,
her
my gut
behalf and her
reaction
fans.
was like, you've got to also be able to laugh at yourself. Is like, so then that's why I was saying at the beginning of your question, I was like, related to that joke specifically, that was my
Yeah,
reaction. Overall, his jokes weren't funny, I think was also
right.
and I even so like Tyler and I talked about this because like
Oops.
we're big comedy fans, and you can
Yes.
never win hosting this as a comedian. Like very rarely does it go over well for the comedians that do it, but they're still asked to
Yeah.
do it and they're asked to kind of roast the celebrities that are there. So normally I'm also like on the side of like it's comedy people, like chill out, like this is a hard job. Flip side, his jokes weren't that funny. Like the Barbie joke about like, oh, they made a movie about a doll with boobs. Like there's nothing funny. Like it was
Right.
just
Right.
so
Well,
like
that's what
that was
the thing
the
is.
other thing is like overall, I think he also was just kind of a dud. Like I expected to want to defend him and I was like these jokes just aren't that funny though. But when I was seeing like everyone getting offended for her, I was like, I don't understand why you're mad about a joke like that. And so then it's like up in the air. Was she just like, was it not funny to her? Because it wasn't like a super funny joke either. So was she just bored looking or is she offended? And her fans are all acting offended, like the super fans. So
I
yeah,
think
I don't know.
I from what
I
I've
don't think anyone
seen,
should be offended though.
from what I've seen of his from what I've seen of like the other jokes that he was telling throughout the night, the Taylor
Hmm.
Swift one was probably one of the funnier ones.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And I think that little, like, I think Miss Americana,
Hmm.
like, being that the joke wasn't actually offensive or
Yeah,
derogatory or like anything, I think that, like, if anything, she could have like sucked it up
just
and like
laugh.
laughed a little bit and like
I
done a fake
agree.
laugh.
Like you
So,
don't want to look
but
like
like,
you're too good for like you have to know how famous you are and that
yes.
everything cuts to you all the time and it's okay to laugh about it. Pointing it out shouldn't be like a bad thing.
And like you said, like he's a comedian at the end of the day. And I just think that
Hmm.
it kind of sucks that like these hardcore fans that will like do anything for her
Hmm.
are like attacking him and trying to make a bad name for him and his career because I'm
Yeah.
sure when he was writing that joke, he was
Hmm.
like, here's a Taylor Swift joke that could be funny, that's
Hmm.
pop culture reference, that's not offensive.
Yeah.
You know, it's not
Right.
like he's like, oh, Taylor Swift has another boyfriend. If her new
Yes.
album will be out 2 days after she and Travis Kelsey break up. Like that would have been mean. You know, that would have been like
Mhm.
same old shit. But
Yes, it would
like
have been.
I
I
just
still would have
was
laughed though, even as a fan.
I mean, listen, like nothing against it, but whenever Taylor Swift breaks up with somebody, I'm like, ooh, that's gonna be a good album.
I know.
So, but I just was like
And I'm
reading
just,
all of these things on Twitter and social media. Like, well, because you know how Bookstagram is. Like anything that's Taylor Swift related, the memes
I know. I did
that were
share
like
one,
the memes about it the next day
are
that people were
everywhere.
creating, I was like, I don't understand why everybody's so offended over that joke. Like,
Yes.
I just, and this is the guy that like will gladly stick up for a woman over a man in any situation.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah.
just like, did I miss something? But I wanted to
No,
ask your
I
opinion.
don't feel like it was that offensive, and I had to pull
Oh,
this
yeah.
up because I heard Hannah and Paige, our girls at Giggly Squad, they were talking about this after it happened too. And so Michael Che, you know him from SNL.
Yeah,
We don't really talk about comedy, but I figured you would know who he was.
I do like to
Uh,
laugh.
well, that's good. You're like, I do like to laugh.
I
Applies
do
lip
like to
balm.
laugh. Um,
He's hilarious on X, Twitter, whatever. He's so funny on there. But he tweeted this, but then he's since taken it down. So I had to pull it
oh,
up on an article. So his tweet starts off saying comedians should boycott award shows. And so then his explanation is, for one, it's very difficult to make movie stars laugh. They're way too self-conscious to have a good time. Two, they don't even want to laugh. They're too busy thinking about their careers, their speeches, and their cause. And he put quotation marks around cause. They think they want to be made fun of, but they actually don't. They actually just want to come here to get their trophy and a nice photo. So then he goes on to say, imagine right before game 7 of the NBA finals, you had to go into the locker room and try to make LeBron laugh. My point is, it's not fun for anybody. Trust me, I know everybody, we all hate it. Fans want a comedian to go out there and shit on all these celebrities and make the room tense and weird so they can enjoy it from the safety of their couch. I get it, it's funny, but that's not hosting. I feel like if you despise Hollywood so much, you want to insult anybody, you don't want to insult anybody, then why say yes? Um, but there was something I could, oh, what is the end of it? The end was so funny, and I'm not finding the next tweet. But I thought it was like such a good point because this is also what happens every single year is like
yeah.
I was seeing hate. Everyone was like, I was seeing people hate and say he's like misogynistic because of the Barbie jokes. And like some of the jokes just were bad, but like people like ask comedians to host it and then they get mad
Hmm.
when the job is to like roast them. And I'm like, this is so weird.
I also think like comedy wise, you kind of it's never really a good situation to have a comedian
Mhm.
host because you could go to I was going to use Amy Schumer as an example, but I don't think anybody's seeing her anytime soon. Um,
Apparently okay, this is so random because I saw a post that was like, "Check out Amy Schumer in a crop top, talking about her 40-pound weight gain." Like, I just saw that, like, 30
oh my
minutes
God.
ago, and I was like, "I'm not following a link." Like, it wasn't even in the post. I was like, "I'm not following a link to just see her wearing a crop top." But no, most people aren't gonna
But
see Amy
like
Schumer anytime soon.
the thing about comedy, right, is that
Mhm.
like you have different tastes in comedy. So
Mhm.
people might like Matt Rife. Like they might be like, "Oh my
Yes.
God, he's like the best. Like I love him." But then there might be people who find his jokes offensive and would probably go see
Yes.
someone different. So
Yes.
when you have a
That's definitely what
comedian
happened.
that is like
Mhm.
very specific sense of humor,
Yep.
they can do well at a venue because the people
Mhm.
that like their sense of humor will go
Yes.
see them. When you
Your
put
fans are coming, yeah.
yeah, when you put them in a room full of people who might not like comedy, might
Right.
not like that you're like kind of giving little jabs at them for comedy, like
Yes.
that's where it kind of gets like I just think the only person that should be hosting award shows from now on who will do it with justice is Wanda Sykes.
Oh, yeah, she would be amazing.
I love
I was,
her.
like, so excited to see who you were gonna say. She would be great.
She's like one of my
And
favorite
Tina
comedians.
Fey, all the memes are going back around of when Tina Fey and Amy
Yeah,
Poehler did it, and they were fantastic.
they're
So,
hilarious. Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's our pop
It's
culture
such
moment.
a I know, it's so because it's everywhere, and it's so fascinating
Uh-huh.
to me because I think there are, like, multiple things that are true. I think that comedians never win. I think his jokes weren't very funny, but no one needed to really be offended by them either. They were
Yeah.
just bad sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's like kind of cringe because like I've been around, well, I'm sure you've heard the stories. I've been around someone who like will do that thing that's very cringe. This really gives me secondhand embarrassment. Like I will get
yes.
flushed.
Yes.
They will they will say something that they think is funny that doesn't really land as funny.
Yeah.
And like the appropriate thing to do is to just continue on with the conversation.
Yes.
And he would repeat it
Mhm.
or like be like, "Did you hear that? Did you hear what I said?" Like this, and I'm like, and
Yeah.
that is like that's what his jokes felt like to me.
I agree. And then he
Like,
turned on the audience. He started getting mad and was like, "I only had 10 days to write this." And like, you were laughing at the jokes I wrote, the ones that other writers
yeah,
wrote. You didn't. I'm like, bro, you can't,
just
you
let it
can't
go. Yeah.
turn on the audience. This
No,
is
I
so awkward.
know. But
It was just awkward.
yeah,
It was not the job for him.
no, no, no. But like,
But I'm happy Barbie won stuff still, so
I didn't even watch them.
I didn't watch either.
I just was like, because they're so long, they draw them out so
It
much,
takes
right? Like,
forever.
I am more apt to watch like the Grammys
Mhm.
because I love the performances as well. But
Yeah.
like even then, I'm like, oh my God, it's 3 hours of my year.
Yeah, it is.
So I didn't watch them. I just saw the thing about Taylor Swift over and over and over and over again on social media. Like you would have thought that he called her a "See you next Tuesday" on
Yeah,
stage, the way that people
I'm
were
like, "Do you
reacting.
guys remember, like, Ricky Gervais hosted these?" Like, it's been worse.
Yes, right? God.
Like, this was tame, it was just kind of lame too.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was just tame and lame.
Tame and lame. Tame and lame.
Well, what's not gonna be lame
Oh my God, it's our episode
is
tonight.
our episode and the books that we're gonna read in
Yeah,
2024.
yeah. I thought it would be really fun for, like our first solo show of 2024 to be
Mhm,
like, here are some of the things that we're going to be kicking off the new year with.
mhm.
Um, and seeing where we go from there.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I just told you this earlier, but I had 2 five-star reads that kicked off 2024 for me. So I am on a roll. And I'm just hoping I stay on that rule.
I had lackluster so far this year,
I know.
and I'm very sad. But um I heard a huge bang in my house, so I don't even
Oh,
know what I like said, but yeah, I think it's gonna be really fun to I hear people talking, so I'm assuming everything's okay. But
well, that's
I thought it would
good.
be like super fun to just I'm not like a New Year's resolution kind of person, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I do believe in certain things in your life kicking off like a fresh start, you
Mhm.
know? Like I don't do New Year's resolutions because I was just talking to my hairdresser about this. It just is weird to me that my birthday's in May, but I'm gonna decide to be a different person in January. So like for me, it's like I'm just gonna wait. If I'm gonna like do anything for like self-improvement, I'm gonna wait for my birthday in May. But like,
That's
yes, a
amazing.
new calendar year for like reading. Okay,
Mhm.
I'll take it. So
Yeah.
that's why like there are certain things that I will celebrate in January, and there are certain things
Mhm.
that I'm just it's gonna be the same old bitch about.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we all know the things that we're not gonna let go of.
That was also a very Page thing of me to say.
It was. I
They've been
agree.
showing up all over my TikTok and I am like
Yeah.
obsessed. I just can't stop like laughing at them because of
Mhm.
how much they remind me
I
of
know.
us.
I have the
Of
same
us.
experience. And what was funny, I can't remember if you said this on air or if we were off air, but you were like saying like, "No, really, you're Hannah." And I was like, "Yeah, but I do stay home like Paige." And you're like, "But you're Hannah." And then ever since you've said that, every clip I'm like, "Yes, I'm Hannah." Like I knew that.
Like Hannah falls into the fact that Paige is very dramatic.
Yeah.
And like, did you see there was like a TikTok about Paige getting a manicure
Mhm.
and she got the French tips and she was like
Yes.
the woman like cut me and I was like, "Oh my God." And like Hannah was like, "Oh my God,
Yes.
you almost bled out."
Yes. Yes. And like her falling down the stairs.
I can't go to dinner. I just
I just
fell.
fell. Oh my gosh,
That was me.
I love her so much.
That was me when this is so funny. I had
Mhm.
a moment where I had like a huge dental journey in 2023, right? Like
Yes,
I
you
was like,
did.
I'm gonna start going to the dentist like as often as I need to, as often as I should, whatever. So one of the issues that I was having was my gums on the bottom of my teeth were like detaching a little bit, and it was just like tartar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it was like
Yeah.
easy fix. Like I went for a cleaning and it was like all taken care of and everything was fine.
Mhm.
But when I was going through that, waiting Friday to Monday for my appointment, like my friend Nicole was like, "Do you want to go out to dinner tonight? Like, let's go. Like, we haven't seen each other in months and months and months." And I was
Mhm.
like, I can't, what if I can't go to dinner? Like, what if something happens to my teeth? And she's like, "Are you just not gonna eat for 4 days?" Like, I was like, what happens?
That
But
is
yeah,
very page coded.
yeah. Yeah. So basically that is my like if you do not get a dental cleaning every 6 months, you can get tartar buildup that will make you think that your gums are going to fall out of your mouth, but they are not. You just
Oof.
go to your dental cleaning and don't smoke cigarettes.
And don't smoke cigarettes. This is our action item for the podcast.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So now that everybody has our PSAs about dental hygiene being very
Yes.
important and Taylor Swift, would you like
Mhm.
to kick it off with your first book?
I would love to.
Hmm.
So I'm going to consider this a segue from last week's episode
Oh,
because Walking Through Needles by Heather Levy is one
I love it.
was it on your list?
No, I just love
Okay.
that you did this as a segue from like connecting
Yes.
episodes is like the biggest, like coolest segue in the entire world.
Yeah. I love a little timeline shakeup. Obviously. So, Walking Through Needles by Heather Levy, who we talked to last week, she was talking about it and it made me want to read it even more. So,
Mm.
I bought it when there was a 2x Kindle day here recently. Um, so when Sam Mayfair was 16, her life was shattered by an abuser close to her. News of her abuser's murder 15 years later should have put an end to the torture she's endured because of one decision plaguing her life. But with her stepbrother Eric as the prime suspect, Sam is flung back into the hell of her rural Oklahoma childhood. As Sam tries to help exonerate Eric while hiding certain truths of their past from investigators, details of the murder unravel. And Sam quickly learns some people, including herself, will do anything to keep their secrets buried deep.
God damn, that does sound
It does
dark.
sound dark.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So she talked a lot last week about how it is just very dark, but she also, what's cracking me up is she also kept saying like, I didn't feel like I'd written a thriller, like it's just not a thriller. And I'm like, this sounds like a mystery thriller.
Yeah,
So, and it's even actually considered that genre on Goodreads. So I'm excited. The way she writes characters, I'm sure I'm gonna love it.
there are a lot of things where there's certain elements that can be like in a plot that people will be like, oh, automatically it's a thriller.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if she said that because some people like read it
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, okay, the book 27 Minutes by Ashley Tate,
Yeah.
the reviews on Goodreads aren't the best because people are
Mm-hmm.
like, this isn't like it's a good book, but it's not a thriller. And that's what it was like marketed as.
Mm.
So I'm
Yeah.
very curious to read that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Heather's sounds so good.
I know. I'm
So good.
excited because she's
Mhm.
obviously like a new favorite of mine. So
She's so
that's
cool.
like this year I have a couple authors where I'm like, I love them so much that I'm reading more of theirs.
I love that journey for you.
Me too.
I love it.
My next two are like that, actually.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my God. Um, my first one is a thriller. I
You
don't
did
even know.
it.
I did it. I remember last year reading What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall and like
Hmm.
loving it. So obviously when I found out that she had another one coming out this year, I was like, I thought you froze. You were like so stoic and like not blinking. And then like
No, I'm
I
just
like I
listening.
went to pause to tell you that you froze and you blinked and it was like I was like, oh my God.
You're like, wait a second.
She's alive. um
I could tell something was happening.
yeah. So Kate Alice Marshall's newest book is called No One Can Know. And it says that Emma hasn't told her husband much about her past. He knows her parents are dead and she hasn't spoken to her sisters in years. Then they lose their apartment, her husband gets laid off, and Emma discovers that she's pregnant, right as the bank account slips into the red. That's when Emma confesses that she has one more asset, her parents' house, which she owns jointly with her estranged sisters. They can't sell it, but they can live in it. But returning home means that Emma is forced to reveal her secrets to her husband, that the house is not a rundown farmhouse, but a stately mansion, and that her parents died there, were murdered. And that some people say Emma did it. Emma and her sisters have never spoken about what really happened that night. Now her return to the house may lure her sisters back, but it will also crack open family and small town secrets lots of people don't want revealed.
Sounds
Oh my God.
amazing.
It
I've
sounds
been excited about this one too.
so good. I think I'm gonna read it this weekend.
That'll be fun.
I have 75 pages left of Tal Bauer, and then I'm gonna dive into this thriller.
Oh, nice. So yeah, I'll probably start it tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm super pumped
Mhm.
for KLS Marshall and probably Domino's Pizza.
That sounds so good.
All I
I
want.
just got hungry like 5 minutes ago, so we will get detoured with food if I talk about it too much.
I will not mention it again this episode.
I didn't mean it like that. I just meant I
You're
wasn't
like,
gonna
if
like talk.
you
I'm like, fuck you. No.
if you say Taco
Fuck
Bell,
you
I'm
for
hanging up.
talking about pizza. No. But I do have a perfect segue because the next one I am going to talk about is another repeat author for me,
Mhm.
Good as Dead by Susan Walter. So I read Over Her Dead Body and Lie by the Pool by Susan Walter. I read both of them in like the course of like 3 weeks, and I
Okay.
am such a fan of her. So from the get-go, I want to tell everyone, I don't know why I'm phrasing it so formally, but she is so cinematic and she's a screenwriter, so I think that's like some of where it
I
comes
love
from.
that.
And so like so much of it feels like the way that like TV shows or movies like give you information. It just reminds
Hmm.
me of that a lot. And she does lots of there's like always like four or more POVs. So it's just like really fun to keep track of everything. But Good is Dead is her first book. And it is about Holly. Holly Kendrick's husband is dead. Holly saw it all. In one violent moment, a hit and run accident turns Holly's life upside down. Then a fixer for the high powered guilty party approaches Holly with an offer she's in no position to refuse. Holly and her daughter Savannah will want for nothing, beginning with a luxury dream house, all for the price of their silence. But when their sudden appearance in privileged Calabasas, California piques the curiosity of neighbors, the price becomes greater than they imagined. Because Holly and Savannah aren't the only ones in this neighborhood with something to hide. Told from alternating points of view, Good as Dead draws together an unlikely group of people bound to one another by a crime, a cover up, and compounding deceptions. As carefully constructed lives begin to crumble, how far will everyone be willing to go to bury the
Hmm.
truth and protect the people that they love?
Oh my God, it sounds like like murder mystery, Desperate
Yeah.
Housewives.
I agree, the whole neighborhood part,
Oh my
and then the,
God.
like, fixer part reminds me of Ray Donovan, which I loved so much on Showtime. So this just has a lot of elements that I will love,
I
and
never
I've loved
finished Ray Donovan, but oh my God.
yeah, he's hot.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
He's
talk about a
so
hot
hot.
anti-hero.
He's really popular from the Scream movies.
Yeah.
Um,
What is his
he
name?
was in Scream 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
And he was good looking in those, and now he's like
Yeah,
beyond sexy. Like he
I
just like
know.
aging like fine wine. Hmm.
Yes, he
Hmm.
is. Oh my god.
Oof. Oh my God. I want to check
I
out
can't
her books now.
oh my gosh, you have to read at least one of them. They're
Okay.
also all like 260 to 270 pages.
Love
So
that.
they're all and like the chapters are short and it doesn't feel like you read a short book, but they are. So there's also
Well,
that.
yeah, with I think with like fast pace high pacing
Yes.
with fast pacing and like
Yeah.
cinematic writing that gives you a lot of information. Like I can definitely see
Yep.
what you mean with that.
Oh, it's so fun. I feel like I don't even know which one to recommend the most. I love all of them. So,
I'll probably do like an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Or I'll
and
read
I'm
that one.
interviewing her tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm excited. So that will come out next
So
week.
perfect. Okay. All
Or
right.
Lie by the Pool.
Oh my
That was
God.
hers that came out in 2023. So it was her most recent one. And the
So,
cover is so cool.
oh my God. This is amazing.
Yeah, I know.
I have a segue.
Nice.
Um, so I don't remember the name of the book. So
You're like, I know I have a segue. I just don't know what it's for.
there was a book. Okay, so there's an author named Dervla McTiernan.
Okay.
No, yes, McTiernan. And I read her book last year, and it was like kind of like a legal thriller.
Okay.
And I'm very like back and forth with legal thrillers, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot, and I fell in love with it, and I like could not put it down, and it was one of my favorites. It was so good.
The Murder Rule.
Yes,
Nice. Cool.
so good.
I'm
And
adding it.
she has a new book coming out in
Ooh.
2023, and it's called What Happened to Nina. And I am just so pumped for it because I think that she's just going to keep getting better and better with each book.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Nina and Simon are the perfect couple, young, fun, and deeply in love, until they leave for a weekend at his family's cabin in Vermont, and only Simon comes home. Nobody knows what happened to Nina. Simon's explanation about what happened in their last hours together doesn't add up. Nina's parents push the police for answers, and Simon's parents rush to protect him. They hire expensive lawyers and PR firm that quickly revamps up a vicious, nothing is off limits media campaign. Soon, facts are lost in a swirl of accusation and counter accusation. Everyone chooses a side, and the story goes viral, fueled by armchair investigators and wild conspiracy theorists, and illustrated with pretty pictures taken from Nina's social media accounts. Journalists descend from their small Vermont town, followed by a few obsessive fans. Nina's family is under siege, but they never lose sight of the only thing that really matters, finding their daughter. Outgunned by Simon's wealthy, powerful family, Nina's parents recognize that if playing by their rules won't get them anywhere, it's time to break them.
Wow.
Oh
That sounds
my,
amazing.
it sounds so good.
I love legal thrillers, so now I want to read The Murder Rule.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so
It
good.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Nice.
Like, it's like one of those ones that like you say to yourself, like, maybe I'll try like the first 50 pages tonight, and then you're like up until 2 a.m. and like don't want to put it down.
Oh yeah, I get that. If
Hmm.
I didn't take magnesium, I could maybe stay awake. It kills my ability to read until 2 in the morning.
Did I tell you my magnesium story?
Yes. About your mishap.
My mishap. I got the wrong magnesium. I've been taking magnesium. I'm not a doctor, but this is just my little advice.
Neither of us are, by the way.
Um, I would trust Kate more than I would trust me, okay? Let's just put it that way. But I got magnesium for anxiety because I read that it was something that would really help with anxiety. And so I got it and it's been working. I have not had anxiety since I started taking it. It's been wonderful.
That's amazing.
And then I was like, oh, I'm getting a little low. I should get some. And I got magnesium citrate, which is the magnesium they give you to prepare yourself for a colonoscopy. And
Yes.
I am glad that I noticed that I got the wrong magnesium before I
Yeah.
started taking it because I would have
That would
been a
not have been a
disaster.
fun experience. It
No,
would
that would have
not be
been
a calming experience.
awful. Awful. So
Pay
hopefully I
attention
can
to your
still.
magnesium,
Yeah,
people.
yeah, get the right one. Get the right one. Citrate will do everything to your body.
Not what you're it not anti-anxiety,
No.
basically. At least you caught it.
Hmm.
Um, I have no segue, but that's gonna be on our merch someday too. I have no segue. Uh, but this is another author who I read a book recently, and now I just want to read more of hers. And the book is called They Are the Hunters by Faith Gardner. I read
Oh,
The Prediction by Faith Gardner, which was like a um very like Black Mirror-y sci-fi thriller. And I loved it. So I want to read more of hers, but she just had one come out today. Yeah, today. It came out on a Thursday called They Are the Hunters. The hunters appear to be the textbook definition of a perfect family leading a charmed life. When the enigmatic Olivia West befriends their teenage daughter, Eliza, Olivia becomes one of the family, an honorary hunter. Here's what they don't know about Olivia. She's planning a murder, and whether they like it or not, every member of this family is going to become an accomplice. And here's what Olivia doesn't know about the hunters. They've killed before, and if Olivia threatens their reputation, they will absolutely kill again.
that sounds terrifying,
It sounds terrifying, and like the way
but like
she's
really
been
exciting.
like promoting it is like the best way I can say is that she's promoting it like a really cunty thriller too, because the tagline here is the family that slays together stays together.
I love it.
And I'm just like, this feels like it's gonna be like campy even as well. So I'm really excited for this one. It
I
just came out.
wonder, yeah, I might have to check it out.
I think you would like this one. I mean, I haven't read it, but I wouldn't necessarily push the sci-fi ones on you. So,
Yeah.
and this one is not.
Well, one of the like Kill for Love by
Mm-hmm.
Laura
Yeah.
Picklesemeyer was like one that I was like, oh, I don't know. Like this might be like
Mm-hmm.
campy and like too much satire for me. And it
Yeah.
was like one of my favorite books that I read of the year. And it just
Yes.
sounds like this could be something similar to like
Mm-hmm.
her writing style. So
Yeah. I'll
I'm
have to
gonna,
let you know. The cover is really cool too.
Okay, let me just.
You will like the cover. I don't know what that that I just did was, but
It's very maniacal.
I know.
We Are the Hunters.
They are the hunters.
Oh,
Close.
it almost felt like a self-help book. Ooh, I do love that cover.
Isn't that
OMG.
cool? I know.
Oh,
Also, I found her on TikTok, which is always like a fun thing too. She just like promotes her books in a really cool way.
her like something looks very familiar to me.
About faith.
Yeah, like maybe I've seen one of her books on social media before.
You probably have. She has a bunch.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Um, well, I do not have a segue.
Yeah.
I will say this is a book by an author that I've read a lot of and loved every single book.
Yeah.
It's my girl Lisa Unger.
Yes.
I
I
love her
love
so
that
much.
cover. Mhm.
Yeah. The New Couple in 5B,
Mhm.
sensational cover. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Um, it is about a couple who inherits an apartment with a spine-tingling past. Rosie and Chad Lowen are barely making ends meet in New York City when they receive life-changing news. Chad's late uncle has left them his luxury apartment at the historic Windermere in the glamorous Murray Hill. With its pre-war elegance and impeccably uniformed doorman, the building is the epitome of New York charm. One would almost never suspect the dark history lurking behind its perfectly maintained facade. At first, the building and its eclectic tenants couldn't feel more welcoming, but as Lowen settle into their new home, Rosie starts to suspect that there's more to the Windermere than meets the eye. Why is the doorman ever present? Why are there cameras everywhere? And why have so many gruesome crimes occurred there throughout the years? When one of the neighbors turns up dead, Rosie must get to the truth about the apartment building before she too falls under its dangerous spell.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds
That sounds terrifying too.
so good. The thing that I really love about Lisa Unger is how she can, like, how good she is at building a big cast.
Yeah.
So the fact that like it's an apartment building and there's like all these like shady tenants and like
Mhm.
fucked up shit happening, I'm like, "Ugh, just give it to me.
Yeah.
Just give it to me now."
I know. I'm excited for that one too.
And I have an extra one for you.
Ooh. And it will match my nails. I went with hot
Yes,
pink instead of light
it'll
pink.
match your entire life from
It will
here
match
and
my entire
out
life, let's
because
be
like
honest.
yes, the pink and purple will like stick with you for life.
I am consistent. This is one thing I will always be. But my next one is an author that you love as well. And I had to talk about this one because you also sent me a copy of this one and you're in it. We needed to talk about The Fury. Nobody's probably going to be able to see it on YouTube totally, but Gare is like right here
Blurbed,
in
blurbed for
the
sure.
opening, whatever, like the literal first page. So I had to talk about this one and I'm excited for it. Did I say that
So
it was
good.
The Fury or did I just show it?
Just showed it.
Okay, well, it is The Fury for our audio listeners out there. I did it again. I got so excited to show it. But it's The Fury by Alex McLadies. This is a tale of murder. It feels like I need to get in character to read this synopsis.
Whoa, I loved
That's how
that
it
voice.
started. Oh, well, I'll try to stick with it. Or maybe
Wow.
that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? Lana Farrar is a reclusive ex-movie star and one of the most famous women in the world. Every year, she invites her closest friends to escape the English weather and spend Easter on her idyllic private Greek island. I tell you this because you may think you know this story. You probably read about it all. You probably read about it at the time. I was right the first time. It caused a real stir in the tabloids, if you remember. It had all the necessary ingredients for a press a celebrity. I think there's something wrong in this synopsis. For a celebrity, a private island cut off by the wind, and a murder. We found ourselves trapped there overnight, our old friendships concealed hatred and a desire for revenge. What followed was a game of cat and mouse, a battle of wits, full of twists and turns, building to an unforgettable climax. The night ended in violence and death as one of us was found murdered. But who am I? My name is Elliot Chase, and I am going to tell you a story unlike any you've ever heard. That was such a dramatic synopsis. Theatrical, very
Yeah.
theatrical.
The synopsis speaks very well to how it's written.
That's what I wondered. That's cool.
Um, it's so wild and it's so much fun.
I'm so excited. It comes out on January 16th.
Yes.
So this is one that is not out yet.
Yep. So, oh my God, it's so good. I can't wait for people to start talking about it.
I saw a TikTok about it. Someone who was like, I thought I couldn't love a book more than The Silent Patient. And then I read this one and I was like, damn.
There's so much going on in the book. It's so good.
Ooh, I
But
love that.
the yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, I thought it was like so much fun. I thought it was so much fun. Um, I read it in May and I still thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm gonna love it then.
yeah. It was so fun. Oh, so good. Um, well, here is my segue is something that I hope never happens to us.
Oh boy.
Um, so my next one is called Listen for the Lie by Amy
Yes.
Tintera. What if you thought you murdered your best friend?
What it?
Um, what if everyone else thought so too? And what if the truth doesn't matter? After Lucy is found wandering the streets covered in her best friend Savi's blood, everyone thinks she's a murderer. Lucy and Savi were the golden girls of their small Texas town, pretty smart and enviable. Lucy married a dream guy with a big ring and even bigger new home. Savi was the social butterfly loved by all, and if you believe the rumors, especially popular with the men in town. It's been years since that horrible night, a night Lucy can't remember anything about, and she has since moved to LA and started a new life. But now the phenomenally huge hit true crime podcast, Listen for the Lie, and its too good-looking host, Ben Owens, decide to investigate Savi's murder for the show's second season. Lucy is forced to return to the place she vowed to never set foot in again to solve her friend's murder, even if she is the one that did it.
I am so obsessed with everything going on in this book. I
I
really,
know.
I
Oh
really
my
want
God.
to
Ugh,
get approved for it, but it says my request is pending, so we'll see.
ugh.
Oh, it has so many, like the podcast element,
Oh my God,
the
yes.
did I
hmm
kill someone element.
I think it's gonna be like, I think the title is going to be a double entendre.
Yes, I
I
think
think
so
it's
too.
because it's the name of the podcast in the book. I think there's also going to be
Yeah,
something. I just can't wait to see how this all takes
yes.
place. Like it just sounds
Hmm.
so good. So,
It
so, so good.
does.
So,
I love a double entendre. I'm a
me
fan.
too. Double, double.
Well, my last one I am equally excited about. So it doesn't come out until July, but I'm just so excited about it that I might read it here soon because I did get a NetGalley of it.
Oh,
And it is called Ladykiller by Catherine Wood. And I sent you the cover too. The cover had me obsessed from the get-go too. The cover is just so cool. Um, but it also has a lot of some of my favorite elements in it, as you'll hear in this really long synopsis. When an heiress goes missing, her best friend races to unravel the secrets behind her disappearance using clues left behind in an explosive manuscript. Gia and Abby have been best friends since they were girls, forever bonded by the tragedy that unfolded in Greece when they were 18. Apparently, I'm also talking about books that take place in Greece today.
what's wrong with
In the
that?
aftermath, Bookish Abby threw herself into her studies while heiress Gia chronicled the events of the fateful summer in a salacious memoir. 12 years later, Gia is back in Greece for the summer with her shiny new husband and a motley crew of glamorous guests, preparing to sell the family estate in the wake of her father's death. When Abby receives an invitation from Gia to celebrate her birthday in September beneath the northern lights, she's thrilled to be granted the time off from her high pressure job. But the day of her flight, she receives a mysterious threatening email in her inbox, and when she and Gia's brother Benny arrive at the Swedish resort, Gia isn't there. After days of cryptic messages and unanswered calls, Abby and Benny are worried enough to fly to Greece to check on her. Only when they arrive, they find Gia's beachfront estate eerily deserted, the sole clue to her whereabouts, a manuscript she wrote detailing the events leading up to her disappearance. The pages reveal the dark truth about Gia's provocative new marriage and the dirty secrets of the guests they entertained with fizzy champagne under the hot Mediterranean sun. As tensions rise, Gia feels less and less safe in her own home, but the pages end abruptly, leaving Abby and Benny with more questions than answers. Where is Gia now? And more importantly, will they find her before it's too late?
Oh my God, it's gonna be so good.
I know, it just sounds so fun. I am so excited to read it.
I've seen the physical arcs on Bookstagram,
Oh, yeah.
so they're starting to go out. And I
Nice.
believe when they reached out to me,
Mm-hmm.
I believe I asked for a physical arc. So if
Nice.
I get it, we can read it together.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
Sounds
I
so good.
love stuff that is related to manuscripts and film.
Hmm.
And we have, it sounds like dual timeline stuff is happening as well. I'm a big fan
It,
of that.
I know you're gonna hate me for saying this, but it kind of gets me pumped for like summer reading too.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just don't mind the cold,
Lately, I
but
do.
it's kind of rough. It's kind of
It's
rough. It's
bad
been a
lately.
very mild winter here,
Yeah.
so that's why I can't
It says
complain.
we're going to be in the single digits. Um, why is it thumbs upping right now of all times?
Like maybe one
It,
degree.
yeah, it says we're going to be in single digits Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Oh,
Like 3 is our low and 9 is our high. And I'm like, that sounds terrible.
oh my God.
So
I
no, I'm
hope
not mad that you're looking forward to summer reading.
there's like I think there's like a countdown. It's like less than 100 days until we start getting like 8 p.m. sunsets.
Oh yeah.
I just
That's
like
the
when
one part that I'm fine. I love that it gets dark early, but not many, almost no one else agrees with me, so I get it.
I don't mind the cold. I just don't like when it gets when I feel like it's like midnight at like 6 o'clock. I mean, I'm adjusting
Yeah.
to it fine now, but
Yeah.
I do like when the days feel a little longer. But
Yeah.
but what do I know?
I'm just a little vampire in the dark. Vampire?
Vampire?
Yes. Are those the ones that are
Um,
in the dark? Yeah, they don't go in the sun.
yeah, no, vampires do not go in the sun.
This is me telling everyone I don't read vampire novels.
They like to stay asleep during the day and come out at night, and they love to suck. Speaking of things that love to suck,
That's a
my
great segue.
my next book is called The Boyfriend Subscription by Steven Salvatore.
Ooh.
After losing his marriage and his beloved retail plant business, Teddy Hughes is ready to drown his sorrows, or would be if he could afford another beer in his favorite dive bar. He has no choice but to uproot his dreams and leave New York for good. Then a gorgeous stranger walks in with cheekbones that could cut glass and a confidence that leaves Teddy panting. Like the leather harness he wears under his designer suit, Cole Vivian is a mass of contradictions. He's a successful entrepreneur whose app, Versatile, allows consumers and sex workers to form real, if temporary, connections. But now Cole is unfamiliar position of needing something from someone else. A fake boyfriend can help Cole project a more traditional image for a potential investor. And Teddy, shy, smart, and so much hotter than he knows, is perfect for the part. Maybe too perfect. Cole has just two conditions: no kissing and no falling in love. In exchange for 1 week together, Teddy will get enough money to get back on his feet, and no messy feelings will be in the mix. But some rules are meant to be broken.
That sounds like a steamier gay pretty woman.
That's what its comp is like it's
Nice.
like a gay like pretty woman like rom-com
Nice.
kind of thing.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
have just been so obsessed with like wanting to read this book. My arc recently came in and I like was just like
That's
shaking it
exciting.
like,
Ah,
oh my God, you're finally here.
yes.
But it sounds so good. It sounds so cute.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to read it.
Oh, yeah, that sounds fun.
And it's kind of like Heather was saying, like I'm just like really
Hmm.
excited and happy that there are more stories coming out without like stereotypes of sex
Yeah.
workers or having
Hmm.
that be like the main focus of the story.
Right.
So it's really cool that like different versions of sex work are being
Hmm.
told in these stories. And I love
Yes.
me an MM romance.
Of course. Harley just shook her ears really loud at me. So I was like, wait,
She's like, I can't wait to
what
read
is
that.
happening? Yeah, I know. She wants to read it too.
Hmm.
She's like, can you give me an audiobook version?
Oh my God, I wish I could.
I know. They just heard, I think I muted it in time, but they just heard the neighbor dog barking. So they were in a barking contest that
Oh,
whole
they're like,
time.
fuck yourself, neighbor
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, they were unhappy about that other dog's existence. But yeah, we have a lot to read this year
Yeah, yeah, it's
that
going
I'm
to
excited
be
about.
a very good year. I think nothing against any 2023 thriller that came out.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people felt that there weren't like as many, like there were a lot of them, but there weren't as many
Hmm.
that like really like kind of like
Mm.
hit you upside the head, like can't stop thinking about. So it
Yeah.
just seems to me that like publishers and authors alike have like realized what's like not working right now and like what is
Mm.
kind of like overdone and
Yeah.
like redundant at this point, and they're
Right.
like kind of dipping their toes in other like avenues. So
Yeah.
I'm excited
That's
for
good.
the thrillers of 2024 because this episode tonight has definitely got me in like the mood where I'm like, I want to read some good thrillers.
Me too. All the time.